I had been out of school at that point for over 5 years or so, or around 4 or 5 years. I'm in a whole new country. Everything's legal. And I'm supposed to be in school every day. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. I had to go through an experience that was strictly because of the partner I chose, period. And you never know how at the time what it leads to, but I ended up being in a situation where we came across a University of Amsterdam. And then the idea of like, well, what if you go to school, because we'll be there for 2 years. Could be a good use of time to go to school while being over there versus some other stuff. Ended up interviewing. I had an offer to work at the embassy in The Hague, Den Haag, for the ambassador at the time. But I also was studying to take the GRE, took the GRE, applied to school, and was waiting to hear back to see if I get accepted. Ended up getting accepted, and now I have a decision to make. Do I spend my time here working to get a check, or do I know what's best for me long term? Which, based off prior experiences trying to do other things, it's like, man, yeah, no, a master's would be very beneficial. And so, boom, said we just gonna go after the master's. Turned down the job, went all in as a student. Man, and I hate being a student, okay? That was such a tough time for me. Being a student at an older, like I had been out of school at that point for over 5 years or so, or around 4 or 5 years. I'm in a whole new country. Everything's legal. And I'm supposed to be in school every day. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. So, long story short, I got accepted into a master's in economics and then failed by the first semester. I couldn't pass one class. That was crazy. When I tell you a was humbled, I mean humbled, all right? Unique, the Dutch, really helped me develop due to the exposure. Because this is the one place where a teacher ever told me, hey, look, I went to the teacher and was like, I don't understand it. He was like, look, I don't think this is for you. You need to go do something else. He's like,
it doesn't matter how you feel.
Got it. That's how they talk to people here. Interesting. The Netherlands was different, but it taught me a lot. It also taught me a lot about myself because I pivoted. I didn't stop. I still knew I needed that master's. So it wasn't economics. Moved over to the School of Business, studied international business, ended up finding success. And then when I came back to North Carolina, I had an opportunity to go back to the nonprofit that I had always worked with. But when me and my wife left Amsterdam, the whole reason we left was because at that point, she had figured out that that was not for her, that career and everything. And people would probably be like, man, why would y'all ever do it? You got to understand who you are, what works for you, and what you need to be fulfilled. It's going to be different for every person. But if you don't know who you are, it's tough. And then if you're too busy comparing what you do to what other people do and what you make to what other people make and how you live to how other people live, it's like going to be very, very difficult to get the most out of your professional life because the mind won't be right. So you got to know who you are and you got to know why you do what you do. When we came back, we had a goal, or I had a goal. And I told her at the time, I said, I need to go back here. I'm going to work here for maybe 2 years. And then I'm going to what was RTP. But here's the thing, even about exposure. I grew up in this area, Durham. I've always heard the term RTP, Research Triangle Park. But yet I never had a clue of what the it really was, other than T.W. Alexander. No other clue what it was, just some buildings. But the adult version, once you start understanding like these companies, and it's a lot of money in RTP, a lot of money. And it's only grown in recent years. The amount of logos have only increased. I don't know how much. It's a booming area. You could go Google. It's crazy. And so the fact that I grew up here and never really had connections to that or aspirations to get there, and those were great opportunities that were right in my backyard. RTP, School of Science and Math. The exposure sometimes it'll be right in your own radius and you don't even get exposed to something that could have made a big difference. That's a shame.